The Garden of Earthly Delights, Infernal Hat. A monstrous figure looms at the heart of Bosch's infernal panel, its presence both central and deeply unsettling. Atop its head sits a gigantic white hat, a surreal crown that distorts the boundaries between apparel and architecture. Perched on this hat is a fantastical pink structure, evocative of a musical instrument but rendered monstrous by its scale and function. Strange, diminutive creatures and human-like figures clamber and crawl across its surface, their actions frenetic and perplexing. The hat, impossibly large and luminous, creates an island of pale light within the surrounding gloom. Beneath its brim, the figure's human face emerges, the mouth set in a resigned frown, the eyes downcast and weary. This is not the face of a participant, but of a victim or witness, suggesting suffering as much as bewilderment. Bosch's hallucinatory vision collapses boundaries between the real and the fantastic, between the bodily and the symbolic. The infernal hat becomes an emblem of the chaos and torment that pervade this vision of damnation, inviting viewers to confront the moral anxiety and existential dread that haunted the late medieval imagination. The strange pink instrument. Towering above the pale hat, the bulbous pink instrument draws the eye with its fleshy color and improbable form. Its body curves upward, branching into several spouts, each one either emitting a thin wisp of vapor or open to the churning air. This bizarre contraption defies simple identification. It is part organ, part alchemical vessel, part infernal machine. Small, naked figures interact with the instrument. One stoops to blow into a spout as if coaxing music or smoke from its depths. Another claws at its side in some desperate gesture. The act of blowing, typically associated with celebration or creation in depictions of musical instruments, here becomes a Sisyphean task, futile or torturous in its repetition. Bosch may be offering a dark meditation on the misuse of human talent and art. When creativity is bent towards vice, its products become not harmonious, but discordant and dangerous. The pink instrument, therefore, becomes a metaphor for the self-destructive absurdity of sin, a mocking inversion of music's divine associations, and a warning against the seductive allure of folly. The bird-headed figure, standing sentinel on the hat's brim, is a figure whose head blends the features of bird and man, an unsettling hybrid that interrupts the narrative flow with its alien presence. In one hand it raises a torch, flames sputtering in the thick air. The torch might symbolize illumination, but more likely here it suggests destruction, the fire that both reveals and consumes. With its other hand, the bird-headed creature clutches the wrist of a naked human, dragging or guiding them across the hat's precarious surface. The human appears limp, submissive, or perhaps enthralled to this monstrous guide. Bosch's hybrids are never simply fantastical. They serve as pointed allegories, exposing the animal propensities latent in every human soul. The bird's predatory beak, the cold, unblinking eye, and the torch all reinforce themes of punishment, chaos, and the inescapable consequences of moral weakness. The torch's glow casts jagged shadows, heightening the scene's sense of instability and impending doom. The white elephant-like creature occupying the lower left of the composition, a grotesque elephant-like creature sprawls with its massive, chalky flanks, forming an unnatural cave. Within its hollowed torso, several human figures huddle or scurry, engaged in ambiguous, possibly illicit acts. The creature's body is both architecture and animal, a living prison, its bulk simultaneously protective and menacing. Figures on its back appear to perform rituals, their gestures secretive, their faces obscured. The hybrid form suggests the concealment of sin, the way vice can burrow into the hidden spaces of society and self. Bosch imbues the elephant with a sense of ponderous inevitability, its presence oppressive and inescapable. The contrast between the creature's mountainous immobility and the frantic activity of the humans underscores the futility of their efforts, as though their schemes are forever trapped within the beast's suffocating embrace. Here, Architecture, animality, and morality merge, reflecting Bosch's fascination with the grotesque and the ever-present threat of hidden corruption. The face among shadows. Just beneath the massive hat, a face emerges from the gloom, its pallor stark against the enveloping darkness. The features are finely drawn, hollow cheeks, wide-set eyes, lips pressed in a tense line. The expression is ambiguous, something between terror, sorrow, and resignation. This spectral visage hovers on the threshold between visibility and oblivion, as though it might vanish with a flicker of the torch above. Its placement suggests a soul trapped within the machinery of damnation, its suffering silent and internalized. Bosch often uses such faces as emblems of psychological torment, their isolation mirrored in the darkness that surrounds them. The contrast between the pale flesh and the black backdrop intensifies the sense of spiritual exile, inviting viewers to consider the personal cost of the larger allegory. This face is every man and no one, a universal symbol of the suffering that results from moral confusion and spiritual despair. Every inch of Bosch's infernal tableau teems with naked human forms, their actions varied and often inexplicable. Some scramble up the hat's slippery sides, others dangle precariously from the pink instrument, while still more are caught in the beaks or claws of monstrous hybrids. Their nudity strips them of status, making each figure a generic emblem of humanity, vulnerable, exposed, and utterly at the mercy of the larger forces that surround them. The scale of these figures, dwarfed by the monstrous creatures and titanic objects, undermines any sense of agency or control. Some seem curious, peering into apertures or examining bizarre mechanisms. Others are clearly in distress, writhing or recoiling from unseen threats. This multitude of actions fragments the narrative, suggesting a chaos of competing desires and fears. Bosch's meticulous detailing encourages close scrutiny, rewarding viewers with a labyrinth of miniature dramas. Each figure, anonymous yet intensely individualized, contributes to the painting's moral tapestry, a mosaic of human folly and its consequences. The mechanical and organic hybrids. On the right, the scene grows even stranger as Bosch introduces creatures whose forms meld the organic and the mechanical. An insect-like being, armored and jointed, drags itself across the landscape, its exoskeleton gleaming with unnatural polish. Here, gears and levers mingle with sinew and shell, creating entities both familiar and deeply foreign. These hybrids speak to the unnaturalness that pervades Bosch's vision of hell, a world where the boundaries between nature and artifice are grotesquely blurred. The insectoid's predatory posture and gleaming mandibles suggest a relentless, consuming menace, one that preys on the tiny humans scattered before it. Other creatures nearby echo this motif, with pipes, valves, and metallic bands emerging from their flesh. Bosch seems to anticipate, by centuries, the anxieties of a mechanized world, using these monstrous hybrids to symbolize the perversion of nature by sin, and the ways in which human folly transforms the world into something both monstrous and uninhabitable. The dark background and distant figures. Encasing all these surreal forms is a background of almost total darkness, a void that seems to absorb all light and hope. Within this blackness, faint outlines of distant figures can be glimpsed, some tumbling, some scrambling, others locked in struggle or flight. These shadowy presences evoke a sense of infinite suffering, their movements chaotic and desperate. The void is not empty, but teeming with the lost and the damned, their forms barely visible, swallowed by the abyss. This expansive darkness frames the infernal drama in the foreground, multiplying its sense of isolation and cosmic despair. The contrast between the carefully illuminated figures and the suffocating gleam behind them underscores the vastness of the torment depicted, a punishment that is both personal and collective, individual and universal. Bosch's mastery lies in his ability to suggest infinity within a finite space, using shadow and distance to conjure the inescapable reach of damnation. Through these layers of darkness, the painting becomes not just a vision of hell, but a meditation on the consequences of sin, the complexity of the human condition, and the enduring mystery of suffering. In this infernal tableau, Hieronymus Bosch weaves together visual invention and moral allegory with unparalleled skill. Every grotesque form, from the colossal hat to the insectoid hybrids, is crafted with meticulous attention to detail and meaning. The painting's layered symbolism reflects not only the anxieties of its time, but also timeless questions about the nature of evil, the vulnerability of the human soul, and the unpredictability of fate. Bosch's surreal vision endures as a testament to the power of art to probe the darkest corners of the imagination, inviting viewers across the centuries to confront the mysteries of suffering, sin, and redemption. In the nightmarish landscape of the Infernal Hat, the boundaries between reality and fantasy collapse, yielding a space where the personal and the cosmic intertwine, and where the legacy of Bosch's vision continues to challenge and inspire.